get asked the question often about should you pay for a club fitting? So yes, you get exactly what you pay for in a club fitting. That's what we're going to talk about here at nauseam. So we've got 4 different reasons why we charge a fee. First would be the highly trained expert coaches that we have at your disposal to help you get the best equipment. Second is the software up behind me. We're going to talk a little bit about what that shows, and I've got an example of improvement with a female student here. The third point is that we mostly fit to stock custom. So every manufacturer that we have, every OEM on our wall, every driver up here, we can get some custom shafts from the manufacturer that don't cost you an upcharge, even though those are more expensive shafts than just their regular stock. So we'll talk about that one. And then lastly, we do some independent testing, which if you've watched any of our videos with Dave and I, you'll be able to see MOI and center of gravity and talk about all that. We'll link some of those down below. But those are important so that you get a really objective fitting and you get the right golf club for you instead of something that might sit in your garage, collect some dust, and you got to sell on eBay next year. Wah, wah.
Never fun.
No,
Never fun
terrible
experience.
I mean, not that you've done that.
No, I mean, no. Let's go with no.
Dave, you want to talk about the first one, which
Yes.
is our expert coaches. You know
Yes.
a little bit about this.
I do know a little bit about this.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the first questions that's probably out there is why would I go get fit by a coach, an instructor, versus a fitting expert, like a guy that's all they do is fit?
Great question, devil's advocate. I like that. Well, first, that's all our coaches are asked to do is actually teach people to play better via their swing technique and fit them for the right equipment. That combo together is what I really think is the recipe for everyone to get the best golf experience and the best lasting improvement. So the coaches are taught what makes a ball fly and how to adjust that with someone's swings. And they're experts at that because they do that thousands of times a year. We test them every quarter on the knowledge that we think is really important on how to do that. So they know why a golf ball went where it did. And it's not always your equipment. I'd say a smaller percentage relative to your technique is your equipment. So they know why you curve a shot the way that you do. They can take what you want and really either tailor your swing or the golf club to help you get that. So I feel like both of those are important. I've seen club fittings done for free at big box stores that the fitter has never taught a golf lesson in his life. He might have taught 4 or 5 fittings even that week or that month. It's not all they do. There's too many other pieces of a job. In any place that you're going to get a free club fitting, that's going to be the case. To survive in a business like that, this is a business, all of this about golf improvement, to give away your club fitting services and still make a business, you need to have that person doing a ton of other things. We just don't ask for that. So it's important that our coaches also be awesome club fitters. We make sure that's the case every step of the way, and it's a big reason of why we charge and why someone should pay for that. Good question.
Sounds reasonable.
It's a nice start.
Thanks.
So the fee that we charge, though, is pretty small relative to what I think we're promising. So the average club fitting ends in a distance gain almost 80% of the time, and that average distance gain is about 18 yards.
Wow.
And then 20% of our fittings end with a distance gain of more than 33 yards. Those are the things that we are basically promising to people. Come to us. We will give you the best club we can, and here are typical results of what you can experience. So we've got something behind that. It isn't just come in and take a fitting and we'll cross our fingers and hope to get you something. We have quantifiable data behind that work. Are you sold?
I'm sold.
Okay.
Yep. On point
gonna
1. I'm sold on point 1. Let's keep going through the other ones.
Yeah, you're pretty stoic today. I can't wait for some more devil's advocate. I like the conjecture and the dissent in a way. It's really just a way to know if your system is sharp enough.
Absolutely.
So if I can't answer your questions anyway, I don't have a clue what you're going to ask, then we probably should reconsider what we're doing.
This is accurate.
All right. So the second one up there is the software. You've seen Techfit. We built this in-house. It's really developed by our teaching quality team, but it's done in conjunction with thousands of hours of club fittings and expert opinions from other people in the industry too. What we're trying to do with this is, I think, is pretty simple. It's take the launch monitor data that we get from Foresight or Foresight GC2, Quad or GC2, and really simplify it to what people need and then make it look really cool so that you'd have a good time while you're here. Both of those things are important. So get a good fitting and have a cool experience. So mainly we are tracking what you have. In this case, we've got test club number 1, 12-degree Epic Flash with an Addis shaft in there, and we've got 3 bars across just below that are color coded, and those are helping the fitter and the student better understand what the launch angle should be, what the spin rate should be, and then the descent angle is how the ball lands on the ground. All three of those are really important. So for example, all of our expert coaches know this, but the backspin number, the first gauge up there, we're trying to get someone to land somewhere in the 2,000 to 2,500 range, 2,500 to 3,000, maybe as your ball speed starts to slow down. That's the sort of backspin you need to have on there. We've got a cool gauge that actually transforms itself based on the club head speed. So the club head speed of this player now puts your backspin range somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 based on the club head speed. If you start going faster, 2,000 and 2,500 sounds about right. So anything that'll get you close to 2,500 RPMs of backspin is really good. There's just a pro tip if you're going to try to do this on your own. Or if you don't listen to Dave and I about getting a free club fitting, at least make sure you have a backspin number close to 2,500 RPMs with your driver.
Yep.
Second one is the launch. That's also dynamic based on the club head speed. Most people, I think, benefit tremendously from a 13-degree launch. 12, 13 degrees. As you start swinging slower, like in this example of a ball speed that's 96 miles an hour, now you're getting to where 17 to 20 degrees of launch is appropriate to give you the max distance. But good luck finding that advice from just a free fitting or hitting shots just on even our partner software, Foresight. You're not gonna be able to find that. And then the last one is the angle of descent. That one for a long club or anything that you're trying to land on the ground, have it roll, somewhere between 35 to 38 degrees is universal. So that's what you'd be looking for a driver, and we can quantify that and help you find out. So watching this example even, there's too much spin. The backspin isn't even on the chart. The launch angle is about appropriate in her driver, but the angle of descent is now coming down too obtuse, so it's ball just doesn't roll very far. And then couple that with a club that's a couple years old with tech, and you can find some serious gains by what we did just on the bottom. Adding more ball speed is really what we did. Shorten the shaft and hit it farther.
So software-wise, this will kind of dynamically evolve with each person as they come in and hit on this system, in this environment. Talk about hardware for a minute. So over the weekend, I was flipping through channels and I accidentally found some golf. And I watched it for a bit.
Ooh.
And I was watching one of these big box retailers that had a commercial on for a free fitting using TrackMan.
Yes.
So that sounds good. That sounds like something that I should do.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, no, I know which commercial you mean. Unfortunately, the big box store that you're talking about actually doesn't use TrackMan in their fittings. I know. They really went for it though. Like seriously, that's as a marketing ploy that was used, and I applaud them for going for it. If you don't get called out on that, or people watch naively and think, oh, that's the experience I'm going to get, and they come in and I guess for free you can bait and switch that experience a little bit for sure, but that's not necessarily the case. So, but you should use tech. If you're not using a launch monitor, good luck finding out which one is objectively better. In this example, we've got 16 yards of distance, and most of that came from just finding a shaft that was a little more appropriate, stiffer and shorter, even though the club head speed's low. That isn't your typical fitting mantra either. I think you know that through years of practicing this skill and not necessarily following the guidance of what you might find in a manual about how to fit clubs. Our coaches are better than that.
So let's move on. I want to hear more about this stock custom thing. Is this like jumbo shrimp? Is this just an oxymoron? Like, what does stock custom mean?
No, so a good point, and we like to bring this one up, but we don't do it enough. So we do charge for a fitting. You get an expert, you get a launch monitor, you get cool software that guides you to a good decision. But we're also not trying to upcharge everyone into the most expensive club we can build. Yeah. Unfortunately, some of our competition is built, like their only source of revenue is built on club fitting. So with that in mind, that is not the majority of our business in any way. We're trying to help people play better golf by improving their technique more than anything. But if you've got to make a ton of money and all you have is whether or not someone comes in and buys an expensive club for you. I've seen $2,000 golf clubs sold to 30 handicaps.
Right.
If you want that, cool. We do offer any kind of shaft that you might want. So if you want a $300 upgrade shaft just because it looks cool, or you want to be the only person at your club with this this purple metallic shaft that's brand new and you think it is cool, you've seen it on TV, we've got that. But that's not really what people mostly need to get better. Yeah. You can do that for $0, which is what we're trying to offer. So manufacturers offer golf clubs with these upgraded shafts, and they've negotiated a price deal with the vendors to do that. So you can get an upgraded shaft for $0 or a small amount, $100 maybe, to get a top of the line awesome shaft that will fit you well without having to pay $2,000 for a driver or $4,000 for a set of irons that might look really cool, but I don't necessarily think that improves your game. But at the same point, when you go to take a free fitting, you may not get any of those upgraded options. You've got stock, like whatever's hanging on these racks. So it's less custom for you, which is really what the software is doing, and just our whole approach is this is custom for you, the person who's coming in trying to find some new clubs. It's worth paying for.
Yeah, so to kind of wrap all that up, the option exists out there to get an upgraded shaft, one that's fit for you, one that's best for you, for free, for the off-the-rack type pricing. So why would somebody not do that? And then it also sounds like you don't have to go pay the Equipment Champion prices to get just the most expensive club that's out there, right?
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
There's a middle ground in there that still lets you make a good decision. You don't
stock
you won't
custom
have a driver next year.
Now I get it.
And then the last one, if you've watched other videos like I highlighted in the intro, we do talk tremendously about which drivers are the most forgiving, have the highest MOI, moment of inertia. We also have spent tens of thousands of dollars on a machine that will measure where the center of gravity is or where the sweet spot is. And a pro tip for you, they're rarely ever in the middle of the club. That starts to really influence the dispersion of the ball, and then how high the center of gravity is on the face, lower on the club face itself, produces shots that fly higher and spin less, which in most cases are what people really need for their next driver decision. So we do that, and we measure those, and we can tell you which one is the most forgiving club on the wall, which one would fit someone who wants to draw the most, and which one might be good for someone who's just trying to hit a shot into the fairway. That's usually a combination of not just the head, which is generally what you're getting fit for in a free fitting. Here's the club head. Here's a standard length shaft, standard grip, regular stiff or regular flex shafts. We're trying to get all of those parts right. So not only which head do you need, where should the center of gravity go, how forgiving is this, what shafts do you need, what flex do you need, do you need aftermarket or not, what size grip do you need, how long should the shaft be, on and on and on. All those things you're able to do with an expert fitter that you can't really do on your own or necessarily with someone who's just a little side part of their job.
Not even with YouTube videos, taking on a range?
It's pretty tough. You'd have to watch a lot of those.
Okay.
And then I think even organizing YouTube videos into something that's systematic, that's the biggest challenge. You might watch one, but it contradicts another.
I've never done that in golf. I do that in a few other hobbies of mine, but I suspect some of our viewers might be trying to struggle along with YouTube videos to figure this golf thing out. So
that's a bad way to go. You're wasting your time. Your opportunity cost for watching YouTube videos and trying to figure out how to play golf better or get fit for a golf club is a total waste of time. Do something else and something more fun. Promise you there's plenty out there. So hope you enjoyed this. For the good of your golf game, please pay for a club fitting. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and click the thumbs up. And don't forget to join the GOLFTEC community for exclusive content offers and to book a lesson or a fitting. Check out the links below to create a free GOLFTEC account right now.